FRC Robotics, an international organization that pits teams of high school students teamed up with real-world engineers in a fun-filled and educational competition. Each year, teams across the globe gather to compete against one another in a new and difficult challenge. Each team is given a basic kit of parts and a strict set of rules. The teams have 6 weeks to conceptualize, design, prototype, build, and finally compete with their robot at regional competitions all over the world in a hope of qualifying for the first championship event in Atlanta, Georgia. This is the story of Team 241, the Astros of Pinkerton Academy, and their journey as they competed in the FRC Robotics 2009 challenge, Lunacy. On January 3rd, the team gathers in the robotics room to watch the webcast that will introduce this year's challenge. After watching the video, the team will begin discussing and working on this year's robot. Mr. Cunningham, the team's advisor, explains how the day will be run.
We kind of stole when we put this together. Quickly, I'm just going to go through a couple slides here. You know, how do you go to the moon? How do you build an aircraft carrier, you know?
Mr. Cunningham's questions of the moon would soon prove to be an eerie prediction. The webcast begins with introductions by various speakers, such as Dean Kamen and Dr. Woody Flowers. The kickoff also contains the Chairman's Award video and a safety demonstration.
A vehicle to redefine the game.
After an hour of waiting, the kickoff reaches the main event, the game animation.
Welcome to the 2009 FRC Robotics competition and this year's game, Lunacy. Lunacy is played on a 27 by 54 foot field known as the Crater. Alliances of 3 teams each are positioned in bases at each end of the field from where they control their robots. Additional player stations are located along the edges of the crater. The crater is covered with a slick polymer material called regolith that provides a unique surface for the robots to drive upon. Special wheels are used on the robots to create a low friction interaction with the regolith. This simulates the low traction effects of driving in the 1/6 gravity on the surface of the moon. Lunacy uses 3 types of game pieces known as moon rocks, empty cells, and supercells. A trailer is attached to each robot. The trailers are the targets for the opposing alliance. The objective of the game is to get as many moon rocks and supercells into the opposing trailers as possible. At the start of the game, human players known as payload specialists are positioned in the outpost stations. Each robot is placed on their launch pad with the trailer touching the wall of the crater. Robots are able to start the game with up to 7 moon rocks in their possession. During the autonomous period, players in the corner fueling stations and the outposts attempt to launch moon rocks into moving trailers. Each robot starts in a launch pad in front of an opposing player. As robots start to move away, the other alliance may try to block the robot's progress to make them easy targets. Or, robots may use their cameras to track the vision targets on top of each trailer. This allows them to track and score in the opponent's trailers. At the end of the autonomous period, human pilots step forward to take the controls. During the tele-operated period of the game, pilots guide the robots as they attempt to launch moon rocks into the trailers of the opposing alliance. Meanwhile, human payload specialists will also attempt to score moon rocks into passing trailers. Robots can also recycle game pieces back to the payload specialists. With a low-friction playing surface, robots will slide easily and high-speed collisions will be common. Bumpers are necessary to prevent damage. The outpost payload specialists can also deliver special empty cells to their robots. The robots then deliver these empty cells to their fueling stations. At the fueling station, the empty cells are exchanged for supercells. During the last 20 seconds of the match, humans or robots can score bonus points by getting supercells into opposing trailers. Each scored moon rock or empty cell is worth 2 points, and each supercell is worth 15 points in the game. Good luck, and we'll see you at the competitions.
The team is instantly intrigued and excited about this year's challenge.
Driving in 1/6 gravity on the surface of the It's definitely much more flexible this year, and it's going to make for a whole lot of creative solutions and much more intense games, I think.
That's going to be an awesome game. It's going to have fun.
It's very interesting. I totally don't understand the game yet. I'm trying to get the rules down now. I think once we understand what's going to happen, we'll do pretty good.
I think that it might seem simple, but there's probably a lot you can do with the robots. A lot of different strategies.
It looks awesome, man.
The team gets a read-through and discussion of all the rules after downloading the manual. Understanding the challenge is key to success.
The most important thing that comes up every time. Like this camera. Okay, is that you have to understand the rules. So we are going to spend some time going through the rules. We're actually going to read all the rules.
I think that the way they've kind of opened it up is going to make for a lot of creative thinking, but it's going to be very focused because there's only two basic ways that we're going to have to score. So there's a lot of ways to accomplish a few simple tasks, so it's going to make the teams kind of focus on a single goal and collaborate easier.
The weirdest thing about this game is the whole no friction idea, because I mean, even no matter how many wheels you decide to use, you're still going to slide around like you're driving up here in the Northeast.
I think that there's a lot of freedom, but there's also a lot of restrictions, like how your robot's size can't change at all, so there aren't going to be any arms or anything. It'll probably be a bunch of pretty basic dumpers or shooters.
Should be interesting. It's really different from everything else.
Soon, the kit apart arrives. This contains the basic pieces that are given to every team. The team carefully examines everything that is given to them so they can get ideas for the robot. The team members also get to take a look at the various game pieces for the first time.
A transmission case here. Hey! With these parts here go with that too.
Next phase of the kickoff plan is to do a human simulation of the game, to get a better understanding of everything the robot could possibly do.
Things that a robot can do, and we'll put those on a list. And then when you sort of come up with your robot concept or design, you'll look at that list and use that as sort of a guideline for the things that you want your robot to try to do. Now it's just her.
Well, if we could have
After the simulation, the team is divided up into groups to come up with basic ideas for robots.
We had several designs.
sketches. This is design idea. I'm not sure if this is one of the ones that we're using, but this is Suckbutt with fan defense. It's gonna be awesome. Think massive fan in center of robot with a skirt going all the way around it to pull a vacuum under the robot, and then all the exhaust gets focused out of a vent and shot towards the trailer, so anyone that tries to throw a ball and it goes away. It's
Pros and cons of having the robot.
The members reconvene to present their ideas to the team and discuss what each group thinks is the best way to build an effective and competitive machine.
Human player, a turret bot, and one that would utilize the camera and follow the trailers, and would be able.
So we had an assortment of ideas, and our drawings are pretty big. So
Relatively the same here. We're saying it's a piece of plywood, comes all the way to the bottom, some way to suck.
Kickoff ends with a Q&A session before everyone is sent home to sleep on these new ideas.
Yeah, it went pretty good. We got a lot done. I think we made a lot of progress. We moved forward, tried a little different design of our process. I think we're getting there. A lot of work to do.
Very busy, ambitious.